What's up, my friends? Ironbeard here, and in today's video I wanted to kind of walk you through creating a season secure scenario from scratch and show you how to configure it. I probably won't get through everything today, but this should be the basics, and I guess I'll just get right into it. I'm going to have to assume a few things. I'm going to have to assume that you at least know your way around the workbench a little bit. That you know how to at least create a scenario and publish a scenario, and otherwise this video would be just way too long, and I don't think I'm going to edit this video. So the first thing we want to do when we get started is make sure that we have all of our mods downloaded. And for Season Secure, you're going to need the Season Secure base. You're going to need Ace Medical, Ace Core, LM Suppression, and Capture and Hold, because those are all dependencies, and you're going to need to make sure that those mods are added to your project's thingy, whatever this is, this little launcher here. In order to do that, if you're missing something, just make sure clicking on the Add Existing Project, and then go to your Reforger folder, add-ons, and then search through the thousands of different add-ons that you have here. Yeah, and you might need to do this one by one. I've already done that, so at this point, I'm just going to create a new project, and I'll call this Season Secure Monty. And dependencies, we're going to click Season Secure Base, which should kind of auto-select all of these other ones here automatically. This is basically the only one that you need to do. So I'm going to create that. And the first thing we need to do is we need to create a new world using the world editor. And this is kind of a convoluted little process here. So yeah, we have our Ace Core, Ace Medical, Capture and Hold, LM Suppression, Season Secure Base. And in Season Secure Monty, this is going to be our scenario. So I'm going to open up the world editor. Ignore those. And we're going to open up Arma Reforger Worlds Base Eden. Here, this is ever on. Now we need to click this button over here to create a new world. Like I said, this is a little bit convoluted, but after you do it 100 times, then this becomes easy. And we're going to do a sub-scene of this current world. Basically, we're creating a copy of this that we can edit, because they don't like it if you try to change their provided world. All right, now we need to save it. So we click this Save button over here, and then in our Season Secure Monty, I'm going to create a new folder. You call it whatever you want, but I'm just going to call mine Worlds. And one thing I've learned is do not name this the same name as some of these other city names, or else Workbench will start working really weird. So I'm going to call this Seas Monty, because I don't think they're going to have that name in here. So all right, I'm going to fly over to Monty, and this is going to be our little Season Secure area. Now, one of the first things that I like to do, instead of trying to figure out all the prefabs that you need, they have actually this little plugins, game mode setup plugin, and we're going to use the conflict template. What other ones do they have? They have Game Master and Scenario Framework, but we're going to use conflict. Basically, it's going to scan the world and preload all of the required prefabs in order to get the game mode to work. You're going to get this pop-up here saying that you're messing everything, and you're just going to hit next and let it create the entities. And it also wants to create some other files here too, which kind of remind you that you need to configure them properly. So I'm just going to hit next, create the header. Yes to all. This is going to actually create another file onto your computer that you need to edit. And there we go. All right. And this is that file that it created on your computer. So we'll edit this later. For now, we need to go back to here, to our world editor. And it decided it wanted to put all this stuff here. I'm going to delete this military base because we don't need it. We're going to create our own. Game mode campaign. This is another one that we're going to create. I actually provided some prefabs here that we're going to use instead of this one. For SCR AI World, if you want AI in your mission and you want them to be able to navigate around, then we'll edit. You'll have to edit that. So I'm going to delete that comment because that's all that comment says is you need to edit this. And that's over here in the nav mesh world component. There's 3 of them. One's for your soldiers, your high resolution nav mesh. The second one is for vehicles, and this third one is for the low-res nav mesh. So on this first one, this is for the soldiers. We're going to go down here to nav mesh files config, click on set class. It's going to propagate some more properties, and we're going to choose our nav mesh file. And we're just going to find multiplayer nav meshes, CTI Eden. This is the high resolution one. It's going to take a few seconds for it to pop in there. Okay, once that's done, second one, going to do the same thing, but this time we're going to choose a different file. We're going to do Eden Vehicles. And this third one is for the low-res version. And low-res Eden. That's what we need to put there. All right, so now that that's configured, this game mode, we're going to get rid of that, delete that, and instead we're going to go under Season Secure Base. Going to go to Prefabs, Game Logic, and then Season Secure Game Mode Wave Spawns. And I'll teach you how to set this up and change them out for the regular respawn timer too. And you just plop this in here anywhere. Now what's interesting is that that plugin gave us the prefabs necessary, but it didn't give us a few things. It didn't give us Radio Manager, and it didn't give us another thing that we need is let's see, Destruction Manager. I can spell it properly. MP Destruction Manager, gonna need that. We're going to want Radio Manager. Is it Radio Broadcast Manager? Yeah, I think that's the one. Gonna also want MP Chat. Campaign MP Chat Entity. So that you can actually type stuff into the chat. Now with the wave spawns, before I get there, I'm going to create a few more layers. One's going to be for bases. Yeah, let's just do that for now. So bases over Monty. First of all, we need to have 2 bases minimum, and they need to be able to be used by the faction manager. Which, did they give us that? Yeah, we have a faction manager. So I'm going to pick a random spot. Maybe not too random. Like we can go start our base over here into Entree. So I like to use the resource browser and just kind of search for the prefabs that I kind of know the names of. Conflict military base prefab, and stick that here. And if you don't know, the blue is like the front of the prefab. Now, for this one, I'm going to name it MOB1. And for your main base, you like to turn off the season component by disabling that. And then military base component, this is really important, needs to be, can be headquarters. And then you need another one for the other team. And if you want to set which team has it, I think there's a way to do that. The faction affiliation component here, you need to type in either US or USSR or whatever you have set in this, whatever key that you set in this faction manager. So this next base, maybe we'll go down to this large area. And face it that way. Will be 2. Seizing, turn off. Military base component, we want can be HQ. You can also name these as well, but I'm not going to do that right now. One thing that's very important is to know regarding these bases is you see this sphere. That's basically your radio signal range, and you can set that under coverage radio component. And you need to click is source on both of these. Now to set the range, transmitting range is 1,000. When you build a service, the antenna service, the range is 2,000, and it's not additive, meaning that once you build the service, you're not getting 3,000 meters in range. It's replacing what you currently have. So if you set this, design your map to say this is 5,000, and you put another base like way over here, you won't be able to capture it, or you won't be able to reach it. And by putting down an antenna, it's not going to extend it any further, because this is much larger than the antenna service. So keep that in mind when you're building out your bases, building out your layout and stuff. And typically for Season Secure, I like to have somewhat of a linear layout, but that's up to you how you want to do that. So we'll just set this back to 1,000. So now let's configure our game mode. And here on the prefab, there's a few things we need to do. We're going to get a lot of properties and a lot of options here. And then each of these components have their own options that you can configure as well. So on the first one, this control points threshold, this is the amount of bases that's going to be required in order to own before you start winning the match. Basically, it's going to trigger the countdown, and you set the victory timer here. And this is like if you want do a whole island and have 5 capture points, you would put the threshold to 4. You have to win 4 out of 5 of them, and you actually set that here on the base itself, going to the military base component and making sure it is control point checked. So in this capture and hold manager, this is where we're going to set how many points or tickets that is captured by the team once a base is captured, and we can set it to ticket score system or have the classic score point system where it just kind of accumulates points over time. This is faction score, start score. This is going to be, if you're using the ticket system, is going to be how many tickets each team starts with. And like I mentioned in a different video, that with the ticket system, you're going down to 0, and whoever reaches 0 first is the loser. And with the regular system, it's whoever reaches the score threshold first is the winner. And you set that here under score system component. And to change it to the ticket system, you're going to set the score limit to 1 and go back to Capture and Hold Manager and click on Ticket Score System. If you want to earn tickets, like once you capture a base, then you can add in how many points a base is worth. Scaling score and scaling the death score. This is kind of an option that we did because our server population is relatively low. So if people are seeding the server and there's only like 10 people on, match will take forever if it's 500 tickets and everybody's only losing 1 ticket per death. So this kind of scales it up to the fewer amount of people that are on the server, the more tickets it's going to cost, whenever you die. And same thing for the base capture score is like, if there's few people on the server, then you don't want 50 extra tickets being added to the score. If you have a full server all the time, then you can definitely turn these off. The next thing I want to talk about is the wave spawn system. So under the component down here, where is it? Wave respawn timer component. This is where you set how long each wave is going to take before a new one sets. So I have it set to 45. You can set this whatever. Use custom grace period. This is let's see. This has to do with battle prep, which we'll talk about in a little bit. The wave spawn system won't kick in until this grace period is over, and I've set that to be the same time as your battle prep time. So during battle prep, people can just spawn in right away, and then after battle prep is when this timer will start kicking in. To set battle prep, we go back up here and we scroll all the way down to the season secure options and set show battle prep timer. And here's where you set the battle prep time. So by default it's 90 seconds. You could move it up to 5 minutes or 1 second or whatever, or not even have it at all. If you don't have it at all, then yeah, don't click this. Play Counter-Strike sound. I used to have like the classic go, go, go thing in there, but I don't know, some people were talking about copyright issues or whatever. So it's one of the game files that is already comes with Reforger in here. Like if you want to have a sound file play after battle prep is over. MHQ spawn prefab. So this is kind of an interesting one. Right now it's using the default and you don't really need to change this, but in some of our scenarios, we needed to disable the range at which the MHQ extended the radio. So we created different prefabs for that. So one had 0 range, one had 1000 range, and the other had like 2000 range. And you'd be able to set that here. Rank required. This is for your loadouts. If you want to require an allowance for each rank, and you can set the value here. By default, it's checked, but you can uncheck that too. And then player controller prefab. This is one of the player controllers that tie everything together. That's going to be required if you want to see everything. So let's talk about setting up battle prep, and you do that by using up one of these in base. That's under where? Yeah, prefabs, game logic. So this battle prep zone, if you want to use the battle prep, just drag these into your conflict military base prefabs here. This is going to set the zones, your ranges for the prefabs or for the battle prep. So you have a warning radius and then like the actual zone radius. Once a player reaches this 100 meters, it's going to be out here. They're going to warning's going to pop up, and then as soon as they cross the 150 meter range, which is here, then they'll be killed. And you can set this range to whatever. So capture and hold zones. This is going to be one of the things that you can fight over if that's how you want to set up your scenario. So like within Monty itself, we can set up like the church area to fight over. Maybe this HQ looking building here. fire station. And to do that, we just need to go into capture and hold. Actually, is it capture and hold? C's capture and hold area major. So just use this prefab that's under in base, secure base. Set it up here. Draw shape. I like to draw shape just so I know where the zones are. And if you want to just set up your scenario where you're not even using capture and hold bases, like to win, like you just want to main base spawn here, main base over there, spawn there, and then just fight over these points. It's a little bit difficult to earn rank. So with this C8 zone rank option here, if you check this, then as long as you're inside this area here, your player will start earning up a little bit of XP per tick. And to change the size of these boxes, you just use these, box max X, Y, and Z coordinates, which I won't get into too much. Area symbol, this is important. This string here is for the string editor, and it goes all the way up to F, I believe. So you don't want to have these all the same name. So this first one is going to be A. And it's best practice to just have it as one character because it's going to be shown up here on the top of the screen. So we'll do one here at the church, one here at this area. Draw shape just to see where it is. You'll want to turn off draw shape once you get this figured out. Otherwise, that's what everybody will see. And I'm going to change the name to B. Bravo. And then maybe there's another one at the graveyard. That's a suitable location for a battle. Name this C for Charlie. Tick rate is going to be how often it's going to update the score. Score per tick is going to be how much score do you want added, and then how much score is added when it's contested, and how many players in order for it to not be contested. So I believe with this, we sort of have a working scenario that's just capture and hold points. We'll see. And we click this green arrow in order to check it out. So now we're spawned in. It looks like it's the ticket system. And what'll happen if you do it this way, if you're on a ticket system and you're using capture and hold points that generate score, well, depending on how many players are on your server, you may never actually conclude the match. So I'm going to spawn over here. See this graveyard. You can see that little icon there. It'll pop up once you get around 70 meters, I believe. Yeah. And then on the map, these capture and hold points are going to be shown here in purple or magenta. And I believe that once you capture this area, so now that we own it, the score is not going to go up above the maximum amount of tickets that we have. Also, if I test out dying real quick, I'm the only one on the server. Multiplier is 10. So I lost 12 points because for some reason when you suicide or get killed by a friendly, 2 extra points are added. Which may or may not change in the future. But that's how this is set up. So that's kind of how to do like a purely control point area. And you don't have to have this at all. If you're going to do the ticket system, then fighting over bases is typically what we do. I'll add another conflict base here. Put it on the soccer field. And then this one, we'll say it's a control point. Oh yeah, that was another thing I forgot to mention. Additional contested time. So this is like if an enemy moves into this area and is starting to capture the base, then it's going to take an extra 180 seconds for somebody to be able to spawn in here. And you can set this to 0, or you can set it to 10 minutes or whatever. But this is a control point, and if we go to our game mode, let's see, we got 1. So as soon as I capture this base, then it should start the countdown timer. Let's see.
Всем позывным. Это актив 0-3. Мы выдвигаемся. Атакуем точку Кабан. Конец связи.
I'm going to wait for the AI to spawn in so I don't get wrecked. Capturing the base. Just going to speed it along a little bit. So we got the base. You can see in the top right corner, we're winning. Real quick, we'll just set it back over to the original system. Not the ticket system, but the score system. So I'm going to uncheck this. Let's say I want 500 points. And these scale scores, scale death, I believe the score is tied for the ticket system, not necessarily for the scoring system. Let's see. Now this base itself, if you go into the military base component, this also has a tick rate and a score per tick, and a score per tick contested. So this is where if you capture a base, like we capture this base, then you can start earning score over time, and you don't even have to have any of these control points. Though it is great fun to own this base, be able to spawn closer and fight over here. Going back to, let's see, scoring system component. And we're going to want to set this to from 1 to, let's just say 2,000. So at 2,000 points is who's going to be the winner.
Всем позывным. Это компас 2-3.
So now we're earning points there. Let's see. Got a friendly. Let's pretend that they just captured the base there. Bam. So not only are we winning based on the amount of bases that we own, which is threshold is 1, but also we're still earning up a good amount of points too for our team. Worth noting, see that it's at a little over 900 now. Once the base changes hands, those points go to the enemy team and they get subtracted from your team. So the only points that you really save are the ones that are generated over time. So if we go here, I'm owning that one. Running a little bit faster. And bam. Real quick to switch over from the wave spawn system to actually use like this contested base timer, you'll need to use the old system. So to switch back over to it, we need to see wave spawn timer component. We need to uncheck enable there, and then time spawn component. We need to enable that, which it kind of takes a little bit. Or do I have to do it twice? I think you have to do it twice for whatever reason. I don't understand it. But now that that's done, the contested timer will start working. Also, I believe I forgot to show battle prep. So let me show you what that looks like. Battle prep timer 90 seconds. Save it. So there it is, right in the center of the screen, or the top center. And what'll happen, you got dude shift Wing. They're going to get a warning. And if they persist, they're going to get demoted and die. Okay, so I think that about covers everything that we need to cover. Now that we have our super awesome, amazing game mode, we're going to want to publish this bad boy, right? So we go back here, and under missions, there's this config file that's open up here. And this is where you're going to set the world here. You're going to want to make sure that this is actually that world that we had created. And then you're going to put in your name, or the name of the scenario. And then the author, Ironbeard, and then the description, which is going to be the little line of text that shows up while you're loading the mission. One thing that, oh, I see that they have it here. Never mind. So this used to be unchecked by default, and if you had AI and this was unchecked, it would not allow any, it would not spawn any AI, and I couldn't figure it out for like 3 days that it was this setting here. Yeah, so Control S to save. Gonna go to Workbench, gonna go to Publish. And then preview image, you're gonna need to, like, you know, pick a JPEG or something. You're gonna want to set the category to scenario. Put in any tags for people to find it, and then give a summary and a description, and you're good to go. Public, this is basically like, are people going to be able to find it, or do they have to like select some other, like the test filter in order to find it? And then once you publish it, you'll be able to download it and play it. So that's pretty much all there is to it that I can think of. I feel like I'm probably missing something, but I'm sure if you guys leave a comment in the video, then I'll be reminded of what I forgot. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope to see some super awesome scenarios. Take care.